Welcome back to the Data Bytes. Today we're going to dive into SQL Server link servers. I'll show you how to easily connect different SQL Server instances and some other data sources seamlessly, but be aware along the way we'll encounter a few gotchas, so let's get started. First, I'm going to connect to SQL Server Management Studio. You'll see that I've already connected to the two instances that I'm wanting to connect to. I'm going to have a link server set up on the SQL 1 named instance. Currently it doesn't have anything except for the replication distributor, but that's not important for this. You can see how I had that one set up in the other replication video if you're interested. We'll go to new link server. All right. And you're going to see that this is going to have an area to write the name of the link server. If you have a data source that you already have an idea of, then you would go over here. You could use OLDB and a bunch of other ones that we're not going to get into. We'll use SQL Server, for instance, right here. And whatever you type into the link server, the instance name is what you're going to connect to. So I don't feel like fat fingering this again like I did in the last demo, so we'll use this. And bada bing. Let's go to security. You'll see there's a few different security options made, not to be made without using security context, be made using logins, current security context, and be made using the security context. So personally, I'm going to use a SQL Server authenticated login just because in the past I know using the logins current security context can have a lot of Kerberos issues. There's some ways around it, but just for ease of use, I'm going to use a SQL Server authenticated login. I already had that login created over here on the default instance. So that should make it easy. All right. And here's a few of the other, server options you could run into. A lot of the times I see people turn in RPC and RPC out on. There's a few other ones on here. Most of the time I'm not changing a lot of these settings, I'm just connecting. All right, so there it is. You can see that it's going to have the catalogs. It's going to show you what it actually has access to. But since this login happens to have sysadmin, it has access to everything. Now, if you took this away and granted it, we'll just give it read only. Take this off. And let's see how this changes. All right, so you can still see it's got access to the distribution and the Stack Overflow 2010. I'm sure you probably got access to TempDB as well, just because I think that's by default. You can see that you have access to all these bad boys. So one way to connect to there would be write a query. We're on the wrong one. Let's create a new query. We will use the link server. So select all. Let's do a top because all can get very, very tiresome pretty quick. And from, you can use the name dot, what's that going to be over there? Laziness right here. Stack Overflow dot. Let's do a smaller one. So we'll do top 10. So we're on the named instance and we're going to connect over to the default instance. And good night find server Stack Overflow 2010. Oh, because that's not the right name. All right, so messing up my stuff. Let's see if we can. There it is. Got this one. All right, so that one actually works. You got to make sure you put in the right name. So this is what you're going to use as the name for it. Basically, it's going to be the add-on to the database, and this is going to fully qualify it. This is most of the time not the best performance. I would suggest if you're going to do it, I would use the open query method, which would be select, click and write. I'll do all from open query. Select top all. They're about the same here, but for a larger query, the open query one usually runs a little bit faster. If you are having issues with speed on this, I would try this one. This might actually fix it for you. All right, so here's some gotchas. I've mentioned the authentication already. You have to make sure you have the authentication on the both sides. You need to make sure that you have the login needs to be inside of the link server, or you need to have it pushing through and connecting with what is that called? Using the login's current security context. Another gotcha would be firewalls and network configuration. Sometimes the network firewall settings can prevent the link server from establishing connection, so check the necessary ports to make sure they're open. You can also have a data type mismatch. When querying data from a link server, be aware of the potential data mismatches between the local and remote server. Check compatibility by using the appropriate data conversions or aligning the data types across the servers. And performance implications. When querying data from a link server, be aware of potential performance implications. There are a lot of things that can hinder performance, such as network latency. The query can decide to pull full tables across the network, even on top scans, and the link servers don't cache your data. And that's a wrap. Setting up a link server can be a powerful tool to connect to different data sources, but remember to watch out for the sneaky gotchas, stay vigilant, and your link servers will perform like a dream.